Welcome back. Here's another episode of Mudrunner Expeditions tips. Another 10 to 14 tips I've dug up for you guys to figure out if you want to make the game a little easier on yourself. I never do walkthroughs. I never do guides on every little mission. That's not my jam. What I do instead is give you little ideas or techniques to use to make yourself a little easier, because after all, if it was a guide or a walkthrough, like step by step, what's the point of playing the game in my mind? So instead, I do it this way. I give you a bunch of tips. You figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you want to remember, what you don't want to remember, and go from there. Now, like always for these videos, they're going to be broken up into sections, which are going to have chapters in your YouTube timeline down below. If you like what I do today, please debate the idea of hitting the subscribe button so you can come back only if you think I've earned it. Now, I'm not going to ask you at the front of the video. I'll ask you at the end. If you think I've earned it, debate the idea of hitting the subscribe button. Past that, if you want to hit other buttons, that's up to you. Now, let's get into this. Today's tips are going to have everything from general advice and driving around, how not to get damaged, how to make yourself be able to see some problems coming up ahead, as well as the map and how to navigate it. Yes, that's important. I'm not talking about just the maps that you put the waypoints on. I'm talking about the regional maps and how to move across them, because there are a little few things in this game that aren't explained well by the devs. And finally, bases and field camps, how to upgrade them, how to degrade them, how to use them to your advantage, and everything so on and forth. That should be about anywhere from 12 to 15 tips. I'm not really sure how many I can put in here. I'll try to put as many as I can, as quick as I can. Thank you very much, and let's get into the video. Making sure you don't hurt yourself. And some of the things from SnowRunner don't apply here in Mudrunner Expeditions. I don't really know Mudrunner, the original. I own it. I've never really given it more than 5 minutes of time, because SnowRunner was already out when I found the series, even though one of my best friends told me about spin tires. And then I was like, who'd want to do that kind of game? And now it's one of my favorite games of all time. So, number one, all right, section one. Do not drive full speed into ditches. Don't drive full speed into cracks. Don't drive full speed into anything unless you know how it's going to react. Now, if you think you know your truck very well, hey, go for it. But let's go see what I mean. Just for a minute. Pretty standard stuff. Some of you are like, I would never do that. If it even looks like it's normal. Like over here, like look how small this crack is, right? See what I mean? It's not that wide. It's barely a little bit bigger than your tire. I've seen this happen up to 1/4 the length of my tire, or width of my tire, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And if I said to you, hey, let's go down over that river down there that you can see in the background, go full speed over that, you go, I wouldn't do that. Maybe you should consider, for some things, slowing down until you know the map a little bit. Just a thought. Just a thought. All right? I see a lot of people going out there. I've been watching some streams, I've watched some YouTubers, and they're all smashing things really fast because they're trying to rush around. Remember, until you have a area to repair, a base nearby, using spare parts can get annoying. If you like to be hard on your trucks, hey, go for it. Put out some extra sideboards, you'll be fine. But please be aware of it. Now, it may seem really common sense. It really may, but it's not. It's really not. It'll take you some time. Take your time, though. Slow down, and it'll save your truck's life. Let's go to the next tip. This next tip has to cover rocks, outcroppings, tree branches, everything on the ground that can hurt your truck. Some of it is just like it was in SnowRunner and Mudrunner. Some of it isn't, and I want to make sure you see some of this. Now, if you look at my truck right now, in front of us, right here, there's a rock, all right? This rock is very small. Look how much that threw me over. That little bit, at that little bit of a speed, it bounced me up a good deal. I want to make sure a lot of you saw this, because it surprised me many times, especially when I was getting used to the controls, which, by the way, on some of the controllers, and I think are reversed from SnowRunner, which kind of throws you for a loop. You can remap them if you want to. From a friend of mine, Rathan, who said that today. Watch out for rocks, watch out for outcroppings, watch out for anything on the ground until you get a feel for it. I'm not saying you have to stop and be like a little granny going, oh, am I going to fall over? No. But if you see a rock coming and you can avoid it, try to. If you can't avoid it and you're not sure how the truck's going to react because you're not used to the truck yet, any kind, anywhere, slow down. It's going to save you a lot. I had a mission the other day. I went through it was 3 hours for the mission in front of the stream. At the very last bit, like from here to this tree in front of me, you can see right in front of me, that was the distance I had to go to complete the mission, unlock a base on this other map. I hit a rock right here, and my truck went on its side. 3 hours, all of the stuff I had done was still unlocked, but I had to go back from another map all the way through. It took me like 75 minutes to drive over. I was pissed. I just want to make sure you avoid it, because remember, wasted time is wasted money or wasted progress, and if you don't do this for a full-time living, sometimes it can really piss you off. I figured I'd let you know. All right, let's move on. This next tip has to come with trees and them being your guardian angel of sorts if you're going to try something stupid. You can do a lot. A lot of you played SnowRunner and Mudrunner, and you had your winch out, and you threw it quick to save yourself. No big deal. But you can also use them as a helping hand, hold you as you go around really, really bad turns. For instance, let's try this. You would never try to climb that right there, that cliff. It'd be stupid, especially next to this water. But not with Mr. Tree! With Mr. Tree helping out, remember, you don't have to go maximum speed on it, but you're going to do what you want to do, and while he's there, while you're messing up and making mistakes, he'll be your little helper. Now, one thing you can do for it, see, I'm not even sure we can even do this, I want to show the point, mostly. Now, if you're like, I can't get where I want to go, well, he helps you get over a little closer to his edge. And sometimes you can, oops, maybe if I took rid of the brake, you can try something really dumb and let the tree help you out. If you mess up, he stops you from falling in the drink. This can be applied on canyons and all kinds of stuff. There's a new feature in the game called push. Push means you give yourself slack. That's all it means. In the SnowRunner, you couldn't do this. You had to back up, stop yourself, and then reattach. It's a nice feature. I think you'd want to know. Let's move on to the next tip. It should go without saying that rivers and stream beds that actually have water in them are also not your friends. If you don't know, if you've never been there and you mess around with it, you'll find yourself running around and getting stuck very quickly. However, with the Echo Sounder, it's not as bad as it used to be, where you can actually see it, instead of having to test it with your own face. But hey, look, see what I mean? That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. Some damage came in. I was going full speed. Everything full speed usually means you're going to slam into it bad and you're going to have an issue. Please be aware of that. I've seen myself do it. I've seen other people do it. I've seen people just playing, oh, I'll try the game out. And next thing you know, they're like, wow, everything is destroyed. This game sucks. You're going too fast. Until you get used to your trucks and the way the terrain is in the game, which is different than SnowRunner and Mudrunner, please consider not slowing down entirely, but know when you can give it the gas and when you can't. Okay? Let's move on to the next tip. This next tip is basically you might want to be changing your view from time to time while you're even moving if it doesn't give you the motion sickness. If you look ahead of me, right, I'm looking, it looks pretty good. Everything's pretty straight, pretty flat. We're going to go, right? I want to show you how bad this could be. It's normal speed. Now look at that little hitch right there. I was barely going 30% of my maximum. I did this before, and I bounced so hard I almost landed on my side. And I'm just going to back up a little bit and show you what I mean. If we come out of that river, right behind us, where we just did the last tip, and I'm doing this on some of the starter maps to let you know, because you're going to go this way a lot. Let's go full speed now and not pay attention. Now, some of you goes, it's going to be exactly like the first one, man. You're not paying attention. Right, but you smashed in. If you hit this at the right angle, you will flip over and smash into the bed on your side. Be aware of it, okay? Now, if you do the same exact thing, and you change your view from time to time, like you can move your view while you're playing the game. It's not easy sometimes if you're not used to it. Like let's say you're not really a console gamer or you're not a PC gamer that is used to middle mouse button and flipping around. I like it. I love being able to move around because I like to see the truck and do when it's doing stuff. Now it gives you, it's a little fast, but it'll let you know what's going on and where you're going. That way when you move around you go, wait a minute, slow down. All I did was take my foot off the gas. My dad's famous for saying this thing. He goes, you don't have to put on the brake every 2 minutes when you make a mistake. Just take your foot off the gas. Slow down. It slows you down automatically. Gravity will do the work. Try it in game too. It works pretty well. Let's move on to the next tip. This next tip covers if you don't know what's going on in front of you. If you're like, which way should I go? I highly recommend you take advantage of something in the game that exists. One, a lot of people are still in SnowRunner mode and they're doing this kind of stuff. And they're going to the map and they're going, okay, I'm going to go here, 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 here. That's fine. However, let's say we didn't see this very clear path here. We could go this way or we could go this way. You can eyeball it if you want to, but the game gives you the option, of course, with drones, to go out there and take an actual bird's eye view of what you're about to do. And let's say we're going to go on the upper path. We'd have to go past that tree, over those rocks, into that stream bed, which is up and down really hard. On this side, obviously we see there is nothing like that. On the middle, it's very hazardous. It's very tight. There's lots of rocks. There's lots of outcroppings to smash your tires and cut you up. And you can make the determination. This is why the drone operator, who has the very extended range, she does really well for you, and you should consider using her. If you're doing scouting until you get the knowledge of the map, this will be a very good thoroughfare for you. You're going to go through this area a lot. Just take a look. See what you want to do. Okay? Let's move on to the next section. This next section covers maps and how to navigate them, what'll slow you down, what'll speed you up, and what some of the terms mean, because it's not explained very well. Everyone knows here how to click on any of these icons and go in the maps and figure it out from there. It's no big deal. Most of you are going to be done in Colorado. We're going to focus in Arizona, since a lot of you are probably doing it already. That's why you're probably here. If not, you will be. When you go through the map and you start finishing different pieces of these expeditions, you will unlock certain things. And you can see the rewards on every single one by hitting Show All Rewards. And it's say like Outpost for this one is the gateway to Wapi Bay. That's what your outpost is. It's not actually what you think. Now, I did this over here today on Conoco. The one I've only completed one, you can see, which is Hidden Treasures of the Ford. This one, if you look at Hide All Rewards and go back, this is what you're going to see. And you're going to be like, well, I want to do this. Why? Well, the money's good. Who gives a crap? But what matters is the outpost. Northwest Outpost. If you don't see an outpost listed as a reward for a mission and you finish the expedition, you will not have a spawn point on that map yet. This has been a problem for this map and this map. I went over to both. I was doing some stuff, and I'm like, what opens up the dang outpost? And I started reading around going, oh, see, like this mission right here is an example. It's the main exhibit. There's no outpost reward. Skeletal Riches. There's an engine. No outpost reward. No more shaking. East Outpost opened up. That's why I did this one first. It opens up an outpost I can spawn into. Okay? Now, if you want to go over there, and you want to go any map from this map, and you don't have an outpost yet, when you run out of fuel and airdrops to get fuel from, you're done. You will have to recover and come back over the entire distance. I highly recommend you get these done ASAP, whatever it takes. Leave all the other stuff, scout it even behind, because you don't know how much fuel you're going to have. As soon as you can spawn there, it's a lot easier compared to driving all the way over from Grand Canyon. I just want to make sure you know, because I did the other way, and I lost, I think I said earlier in this video, about 3 hours got reduced down to, I lost about 2 hours of the 3 hours wasted because I didn't realize about the outpost trick. That's why I'm committing it to you. All right, let's move on to the next tip. How to move myself over here for this next tip. This way you can see the very top. Oops, sorry, it's that way. Boop. At the very top, you can see that Grand Canyon has 5 missions done and that there's nothing unlockable, okay? Now, this threw me just a little tiny bit because I'm a speed reader and I kind of miss some minutia parts. Now, I went to the Sonora Desert, the Bay, and I went to Conoco, and I tried to find some missions, and I was having some issues. And I looked back, and I noticed this thing called free roam, which appears at the start. It doesn't appear, it's locked there. I just missed it just because it changed color and it was highlighted. So I thought it was just sitting there. No idea why. It's the way my brain works. Some of you will probably have the same issue. When you do enough missions to unlock this, free roam will open up. Free roam lets you deploy into the whole map, and at any outpost, you can put any combo you want as long as there's parking slots for them. Okay? So if you have 4 trucks, you can put 4 trucks down. I think it's the maximum you can deploy because of slots in the deployment for an expedition. You can't put all of your trucks, which some of you are going to have like 8, 9, 10, because they give you a tremendous amount if you buy certain editions, I guess. Full disclosure, they gave me whatever top edition, and I've been playing it for a week. But please realize that if you want to get some missions done, like the side contracts or the tasks, not the expeditions, there's those 3 different things, or hunt down upgrades, or just reveal the whole map with scouting, free roam isn't bad. It's really not. It might give you what you want. You can leave at any time by being in the map. You hit escape. It says return to headquarters above where it says usually return to main menu. You'll go back with all of your trucks. Every single one of your trucks will leave the maps at once and you'll be back. So remember some of the other tips I gave in the other videos about maybe having stuff inside your trucks to sell, like maybe extra archaeological finds, maybe extra gear you don't want, what have you. You figure out what you want to do. Let's move on to the next tip, because I've done this a few times with figuring the game would be smart. The game does not have smart design with the mission or expedition. You choose, okay? So let's say I want to go to the Carpathian Mountains. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I know it's in Europe. I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm American and we failed. Our school system sucks. So I want to go over here and let's say I want to do a mission on here. And I don't have one selected, so we'll go free roam. I'll select it. I'll put some trucks in there quick. It doesn't really matter at all what I put in there because it's an example. And we're going to dump a few in. Okay, now, I have 3 trucks. I want to deploy. I do so. Now, we're on this screen, which some of you know is the map. Some of you just think it's only available when you deploy. It's available at any time when you go to the M key. But one thing you're going to want to do is make sure you click on your stuff, open up this menu, and figure out what truck is going where. Most outposts only have 2 slots unless you upgrade it with money, which is about $10,000 for parking, or maybe $12,000, somewhere in that range. I'll find out in a minute. But to change it, you have to double click somewhere else, and then you'll see it appear above it. Until you see it appear above it on the map, it's not going there. And I highly recommend, if you're going to play the game, I made a mistake, and I'm trying to help you avoid it. I was over here. I was doing a mission up here. Okay? That's a pretty big distance. And I needed one of my trucks to be up here and the other 2 to be down here. Because it does smart routing, it put everything here at the northern outpost, which was up here. And I needed the truck I needed, which was the 3rd one, was down here. I then had to redeploy, which with the cost of managers does not get refunded, even though it's a few seconds. You want to check that out, okay? You can put it for every single one you want. You can put them anywhere you have explored on the current map. Put them in, double-click, move them around. They will go where they have to go. It won't hurt you. See, there's 2 there. I can't put it there. I'll put it over here. There might be a small cost, not really, from when I see it, like it's $1. I mean, you have a lot of cash. It should be perfectly fine, okay? Just that way you know what's going on, and you can avoid making giant mistakes and having to refund yourself or cost yourself. Usually, if you're going to have the radio operator, or the drone operator and a mechanic, it's going to be around $1,200 every time just to deploy. It doesn't hurt. Plus, if you put a lot of gear inside your trucks, you have to redeploy. All that gear gets sold, like jack screws and anchor points. Please, that's why this tip is here. I've done it myself. I've probably cost myself over $20,000 of mistakes before I sank in and go, hey, calm down, read, watch what's going on. There you go. Let's move on to the next section. This next tip covers a kind of a blend of maps and bases, and I want to make sure you know, because it kind of threw me for a loop because I wasn't reading very closely, which I know with some of these throwaway tool tips that they're giving or really bland storyline intros, that you're probably going, whatever, I don't care, let me in the mission. Well, on this map, Arizona, I was doing some stuff and I couldn't deploy, and I was like, what the hell's going on? So I went from Grand Canyon to the bay. On the bay, I did one mission, which was no more shaking, which was good. Got that out of the way. That's a pain mission. If you want me to do a video on it, let me know. I won't say anything past that to spoil it. Then there was these 2 missions, and I couldn't deploy no matter what I did. I was like, what's going on? So I went to Skeletal Riches. I wanted to do it. I said, okay, what's the rewards? The rewards are an engine. Okay, a little bit of money. A decent amount of cash up here after the bonus money. Sounds good. Let's do it. I selected it. I went in here. I chose a operator. I'm doing this so you can see it, actually. Then I went back with escape. Went back to trucks. I went to this one. I then went to this one. And then I went to this one. I thought this was a pretty good lineup. We got 3 trucks. Here we go. Let's go. Notice how the deploy is not lit up. I was like, what the hell's going on? It says requirements, but there's no requirements listed. What's going on? I don't understand. Now, some of you are like, oh, that's so simple. I understand. Some of you haven't. Some of you don't. And that's why I'm here. When you play a game, or hundreds of hours of games, and I know a lot of you are probably in the upper thousands of games, many common denominators between games: mission givers, quest rewards, loot outputs, all this kind of stuff. Like, hey, here's the end screen, here's your loot, here's everything you did. Some of you don't give a crap. You're like, I don't care, give me the loot, let's go. That's the kind of person I am. Some people want to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and make sure they know everything they did, every step they have, and they know everything. That's fine. If you're one of those kind of people, more power to you. And we all probably are a blend anyway, where some days you're like, I don't care, give me my stuff, I want to go. Other days you're like, what happened to that mission? Let me see that. Now, what I did was I saw this say 2 trucks. And some of you already know what I just did. You're like, well, oh, I get it. No, some of you aren't with us yet. So what happens is if you go to the map itself and you go to Skeletal Riches, you can see the base right here. Until you go to the deploy screen, though, it doesn't tell you the limit on the bases. It's an outpost. It's an unupgraded outpost. Every unupgraded outpost in the game gives you 2 slots. Field bases give you 4. So since this is an outpost, it gives you 2. I'm trying to deploy 3 trucks for some reason on a place that only has 2. And so instead of them saying too many trucks, it just doesn't let you deploy. As soon as you take one off, let's get rid of this. Let's remove him. The button is now ready to go. When I saw this requirements thing have nothing here, but it's in orange, I thought the game had bugged. That's the reason I included this tip. It's not big, it's not huge. It'll save some of you some time. Okay? If you know anything like that tip-wise, that you found that you're like, oh, that's a real pain in the butt, let me know. I can make this stuff into videos, and I'll give you full credit. I don't mind. I'm just trying to make sure people don't go slam their head against the wall and go, why doesn't it work? No, it's not that. It's just sometimes stuff isn't well understood. Like all of this stuff here, I mean, honestly, I think this saying up here was probably written by someone in probably less than 30 seconds. And it becomes so, it's black with gray lettering. I mean, it's meant to be, just, forget it. You know, no big deal. I just want to make sure people knew. That way you can go the way you want to and not get angry, okay? Let's go on to the next tip. This next section covers bases and field camps, building them, changing them around, and figuring out how to make them work for you. So when you get into Arizona, you will find out this is your field base. You're all going to see it, and you're going to have these 4 blue squares in front of you with the rotating stuff around you. That's your base locations that you can build on. You just drive into them. Apparently my camera's staying over here right now. And the building module lets you build anything you want for money, as you can see on the left side. 20 grand for a workshop, which lets you convert the spare parts down here into these items. So that's why you're like, why are all these spare parts around? This is why. Actually, the scrap metal, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The scrap metal can be changed around, I believe. One of your trucks will have a scrap metal recycler or spare parts, and it'll take the spare parts and turn them into this stuff. I think it's a combination of the two. I'm not 100% sure. The warehouse lets you store stuff. The workshop lets you make these items. Essential storage gives you just this stuff raw, and if you have one of the managers, it'll give you more of these. And the expanded parking lets you have more at outposts. If you want to deploy with 4 vehicles versus 2, this is what you want. If you don't like what you have, all you have to do at the very top, you can see, you can just scroll through them, and you can actually sell them or buy them. For me, this is buy. So that slot is already built. There's nothing there. This one here, you can actually sell it. You can drain it out, drain the gas, take the parts, or you can just hit the sell button with A. It'll tell you it costs you 10 grand, it's 9,000 for you to sell it. This is kind of like in SnowRunner when you go to the trailer store, take out a fuel trailer, refill all your trucks, and sell it right back for the same amount of money. They kind of caught that, and they said, no. So that way you know what's going on, okay? Let's stop this for 1 minute. You can build your base however you want. You don't need to build what I built or what other people built. Some people go for 1. They are pricey, as you saw. I mean, they're not cheap. I mean, to build up a full base the way it's sitting there, that's $55,000. And some of you are like, oh, do you need to do Arizona that much? Not really. Any outpost can have any combo of these buildings, including doubles. Like I put 2 essential storage because I wanted the free parts. The one thing you should know is that I think between missions, it does save or replenish the fuel, the spare parts, and the wheels without you paying any money for it. So keep that in mind. Hope it helped you out, and let's move on to the next tip. This next tip covers building your camps over time and what some of them do. Now, I want to make sure you understand, because some people are going to think, oh, I already know. I've seen people in chat go, is build there, does build there, when we're streaming. And when you go out there and you want to build your first base, right? You're going to have, well, first of all, you don't have the truck next to you like I'm doing. You go to building modules. The square in front of me is not where it gets built because we're inside of it. It gets built behind it, like you can see right there. Okay? Now, I have scrap metal, and you're like, what's the scrap metal for? Well, these are recyclable materials such as car parts can be disassembled into parts in the workshop. So here you go. There you go. Now they're there. And it has an anchor of these. You can craft these. I wanted to make sure I saw how these work. The spare parts are now brought back. They're now in the inventory of the workshop. Okay? I said it wrong on the tip before. It costs 200 to craft a jack screw. One of two. I'm not 100% sure if it only means one of two, or you need like literally 400 to make a single one. I'm not sure about that. The other one up here is the anchor 3 of 5. So I think it means you're going to get 3 of 5. I was hoping it would give a full stack, but I guess not. So the craft price for this is 160. There's a reason to bring some of this stuff back and dump it in your warehouse or in your main camp, which is right behind us, which is right here. That building, every single outpost has one area, I believe, to start off with, that you can put some items into. I could be wrong. It might be the warehouse. Warehouses are cheap. If you're like, I don't like how I built my base, go to them and tear them down. Just go to the one you don't like. Right? You don't even have to go anywhere. You can actually stay where you're sitting. But I'll do it for, thematic reasons. You go, boop, you stop. You all right? You actually turn it off and do it. You can go up the very top bar. You can move things around and figure out which one you want to go. We have 2 storages, which are holding spare parts and fuel. They are free, technically. I don't pay anything when the map refreshes and the new expedition starts. They get refreshed. However, we're in free roam now. I don't know. If I leave the map and come back, they'll probably refresh. But until I finish my free roam, they will not refresh. Okay? So keep that in mind if you're looking for free resources. And if it's only $1,000 difference, sometimes that's worth it. It's actually cheaper to get the parts out of here, the 200 parts, than it is to buy the jack for $1,500 or the anchor for $1,200. Okay? Some of those little finagling, no, is it going to matter? Are you going to worry about that little bit of money? Probably not. It's just early on, if you make some mistakes, you might be behind the 8 ball for repairs. You might not be able to have all the parts you want. You might have made a few mistakes with launching a couple expeditions and recalling them right away and losing all your gear and losing half your equipment costs. So that's why I want to show it to you. Okay? So now you can put it wherever you want. If you don't like it, move it around. Expanded parking is exactly what it says. It is more parking spots. If you want to bring 4 trucks or 3 trucks or whatever to an outpost and launch from there when you're going to Conoco, it may not be a bad idea. I wouldn't really do that, though. I mean, I do one, drive it over, like a mid-sized truck or the Scout, get the outpost mission unlocked, and then dump everything that way compared to driving one after another after another. If you want to play hardcore mode and do it that way, though, you're more than welcome to. I mean, I don't want to put that kind of time into any game anymore, so I just want to make sure you know how it works. Let's move on to the next tip. This next tip covers expanding your bases or your outposts as you feel fit. However, don't jump the gun just because you can build something. With the amount of repairs you got to do, until you get a few missions done that are in the $20,000 range, and you're probably sitting on like a rough estimate like $30,000, $35,000, $40,000, you might not want to dump a tremendous amount of money in outposts. Here's why. Your outposts are very small. Like this one we're on right now is a base module, which I believe came with it. You get one base module. It doesn't give you any storage. It does give you gas, spare parts, and wheels. Then, over here, I built this one myself, which is another essential storage. Because I was using this base to launch little expeditions to another map that's very far away. And I'll show you that in a minute. If you don't like spoilers, you probably want to move the end to the end of this tip so you don't see it. But it's not a big spoiler. It doesn't really matter. And then you get the last building module space, which you can put whatever you want into. And you can see at the very top, there's a spot there. When you see that spot in the middle top, you can put whatever you want. You can put a workshop there, you can put a warehouse there, you can put essential storage there, more expanded parking. If you want to put the parking down, you can have more than 2 trucks here. If you put down the warehouse, you can hold items that are around the area on airdrops, dump them here. If you have the workshop, you can use spare parts you've gathered here to build parts that you need, like the jack screw or the anchor point. Essential storage is just more of the same. And you can put them in like that. Say, oh, I want some stuff. Let me go here. I'll pull out some fuel. I'll pull out some spare parts. I'll pull out some wheels if you have the space for them, like if one of the other trucks has them. And then, as soon as you're done, you go, you know what? I don't want this anymore. Sell it. You get $9,000 back. It costs you $1,000 for those parts, fuel, and wheels. And if you're moving across the map, this could happen anytime. It could be like, you can literally have it done in the middle of the mission, at the end of an expedition. You could be free roaming around and go, you know, I need a little refill. I'm at one of my outposts. I've got tons of money. Let me put that in essential storage, take out what I need, repair myself, sell it, rebuy it. I don't know if that works 100%, and I can't test it for you. I wish I could. I'd have to go slam my truck around, somehow get it back here multiple times and spend a lot of money, and I just don't have a lot of cash right now in the account. And I think it's kind of gamey anyway. I mean, you can do it. It's not bad. I'm already saying, hey, like, you know, sell a building, rebuy it back. It's kind of gamey in itself. You do what you want to do. Play your game however you want, because remember, it's your money. It's your game. Play it however the hell you damn well please. If someone says, I think it's gamey, I don't remember asking your opinion on my game, but thank you. If someone comes up on you and says something stupid. Remember, that goes for all games, not just this one. Let's move on to the next piece. This last piece is me saying thank you. I know some of you will immediately click off when I say that, but I really appreciate you being here today. I try to do as much as I can to give a lot of information out in a very quick, structured format that isn't annoying as hell. If you like what I did today, debate the idea of hitting the subscribe button if you think I earned it. If you want to hit other buttons, that's always up to you. I have other lists if you want to go look at some stuff from other games, as well as some series I'm going on right now with Workers and Resources, soon to be RimWorld and some other games, now that I'm back into YouTubing full-time. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. If you want anything to be covered, please give me a suggestion down below. At the moment, I have a half partial video for the next day, which is 4 days in a row, if we do this. And I'm looking for more. I'm playing this live on Twitch. I have a 10-hour stream tomorrow morning to do. For them, they unlocked it. And I will do my best to, which is going to be March 2nd will be the 10-hour stream from 7 a.m. EST to 5 p.m. EST. They were very kind to me, and I always pay the piper. If you come to my channel, you might be like, what the hell is going on sometimes with some of the stuff they punish me with, which is some pink items. That's all I'll say about it. If you want to know more, the links are down below to come join us if you want to. I'd love to see some of you around. If not, hey, thanks a lot. There's probably some videos somewhere around here. You can click on the playlist or on a video. It'd be great. If not, hey, hope you enjoy the game. I'd love some feedback if you want to, but hey, if you don't have time for it, you enjoy yourself and have a wonderful rest of your month and year. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.